realize that aging doesn't just change your body, it changes everything you once believed about life? The truth is, growing old isn't just about wrinkles, medications, or gray hair. It's about facing realities you once ignored, learning painful lessons you can no longer avoid, and letting go of illusions that no longer serve you. After 70, life stops pretending. The masks fall off, priorities shift, and you begin to see what truly matters and what never did. For many, that realization can be bitter, but for the wise, it becomes freedom. Because once you stop fighting the inevitable truths of aging, life becomes lighter, simpler, and far more peaceful. So in this video, we'll uncover 8 bitter truths about getting old. They may sting at first, but once accepted, they can help you live your remaining years with more peace, wisdom, and grace than ever before. Now let's begin. Truth 1, not everyone will stay with you. As you grow older, one of the hardest things to accept is that not everyone you love will walk beside you until the end. Some will leave because of distance, others because of time, and some simply because life moves them in different directions. You begin to realize that relationships, no matter how deep, are not possessions, they're experiences. People you once talked to every day may slowly fade away. Friends you shared laughter with might forget to call. Even family members, wrapped up in their own lives, might only visit during holidays or emergencies. It's not always out of neglect. It's just life's quiet way of reminding you that nothing is permanent. But here's the truth. Loneliness is not always a punishment. It's often an invitation to rediscover yourself. Solitude gives you space to listen to your thoughts, to nurture peace, and to learn self-reliance. The elderly who embrace solitude are not weak, they are wise. They've learned that peace doesn't come from who's beside you, but from who you've become when you're alone. When you accept that not everyone will stay, you stop clinging. You start appreciating those who still do, without demanding or expecting more. It's not about losing people, it's about learning. Who truly values your presence when there's nothing left to give but time and truth. Truth 2, your body will betray you, but it's not your enemy. One of the most painful realities of aging is waking up and realizing your body doesn't obey you the way it used to. The legs that once carried you miles now tremble on the stairs. The hands that once built, held and worked without rest now ache when lifting a glass. And yet, the most common mistake older people make is treating this decline like a personal failure, as if weakness means defeat. But your body isn't betraying you, it's protecting you. Every ache, every slowdown, every wrinkle, it's your body's way of saying, you've worked hard enough. Let me slow you down so you can finally rest. It's not punishment, it's wisdom written in your muscles and bones. Many seniors fall into the trap of frustration, wishing for the strength they once had. But the truly wise shift their focus. They start appreciating what their bodies can still do. Walking a short distance without pain, breathing easily, or even waking up refreshed, these become quiet victories. When you start treating your body like a lifelong companion rather than a failing machine, you begin to live more peacefully with it. Aging gracefully means learning to cooperate with your body, not control it. Feed it gently, move it with patience, rest it with kindness. The goal is not to resist time, but to walk alongside it. Because every scar and wrinkle tells a story, and it's the story of your survival. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Truth 3, money loses its power over you. When you were younger, money meant everything. It bought security, opportunity, and comfort. You worked long hours, sacrificed sleep, and chased numbers on a bank statement, believing that a certain amount would finally make you feel safe. But after 70, something changes. Money begins to lose its grip on your mind and your soul. You realize that no matter how much you have, you can't buy back youth, time, or health. You can't pay for one more sunrise with the people you've lost. And you can't bribe your way out of aging. What once seemed urgent, savings, investments, promotions, suddenly feel small compared to the value of peace, rest, and connection. The irony is that the older you get, the less you actually need. The clothes in your closet are enough. The meals that once had to be fancy now taste perfect when simple. And the biggest luxury you can afford is calmness, the kind that comes from knowing you don't have to prove anything anymore. This realization doesn't mean money stops mattering. It means you stop serving it. You begin to use it for what it was. Always meant for, to ease life, not define it. Spending on health, helping others, treating yourself with small joys. These become wiser uses of wealth. Because at this stage of life, the richest person isn't the one with the biggest account, but the one who sleeps without worry. When you stop letting money dictate your worth, you become free. And that freedom, that inner peace, is something no currency in the world can ever buy. Truth 4, people's opinions stop defining you. In your younger years, you cared deeply about what others thought, your reputation, your appearance, your choices. You dressed to impress, spoke to please, and often silenced your truth just to fit into the world's expectations. But once you cross 70, something remarkable happens. You stop trying to perform. You finally start living on your own terms. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It begins the day you realize that people's opinions don't add a single day to your life or take a single burden off your shoulders. You understand that everyone has opinions, but most of them come from their own insecurities, not from any deep understanding of you. So you stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for existing as you are. There's a peace that comes from not needing approval anymore. You start wearing what feels good, saying what's true, and doing what genuinely brings joy instead of validation. When you no longer fear being misunderstood, you start living authentically. And ironically, that's when others start respecting you more. Not because you chased their acceptance, but because you stopped caring about it. At this stage, wisdom teaches you that the loudest critics are often the unhappiest people, and those who truly love. You will never demand that you shrink to fit their comfort. The freedom to be yourself, unapologetically, is one of the greatest rewards of aging. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Truth 5, loneliness isn't always a bad thing. When you're young, being alone feels like punishment. Silence feels heavy, and empty rooms echo with the fear of being forgotten. But with age, that same silence transforms. It becomes peace. The time you once filled with noise, gatherings, and endless busyness now becomes sacred space for reflection and stillness. After 70, you begin to understand that solitude is not the same as loneliness. Loneliness is the pain of being left out. Solitude is the joy of being left alone. When you stop chasing constant company, you start hearing your own thoughts more clearly. You reconnect with your inner world, the one that got buried beneath years of responsibility, noise, and obligation. It's in this quiet that you rediscover your essence. You begin to see how little you truly need to feel content. A cup of warm tea, sunlight streaming through the window, the sound of birds in the morning. These small moments start to feel like miracles. And here's the secret that many younger people never realize: the wiser you become, the smaller your circle gets. Not because you've lost interest in people, but because you've learned to value your energy. You no longer waste it on meaningless conversations or relationships that drain your peace. Being alone teaches you gratitude, patience, and clarity. It allows your mind to heal and your soul to breathe. And when you embrace it fully, you stop fearing loneliness altogether because you've learned that being with yourself is enough. Truth 6, health becomes the real wealth. In your younger days, you might have chased status, comfort, or possessions, believing those were the real markers of success. But when you reach 70, the meaning of wealth shifts completely. The new currency becomes your energy, your strength, your ability to move freely without pain. Suddenly, the most valuable thing you can own is your health. You start noticing how small habits you once ignored now define your days. The quality of your sleep, the food you eat, and even the thoughts you entertain, these become the building blocks of how you feel each morning. You learn that prevention is far more powerful than treatment. A short walk each day, a balanced meal, and a calm mind can be worth more than any medicine in the cabinet. At this age, you begin to understand how your body has quietly carried you through decades of work, worry, and wear. You realize it deserves gratitude, not criticism. Instead of resenting wrinkles or gray hair, you start appreciating them as badges of endurance. Each mark on your skin is proof that you've lived, that you've survived, that you've seen seasons come and go. And when you treat your body kindly, when you rest enough, hydrate, stretch, and breathe, you discover something profound: you feel younger. Not by trying to look young, but by living with awareness and care. True youth doesn't come from appearance, but from vitality, from the way your spirit feels when your body is treated with respect. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, Please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Truth 7, you realize happiness was never in the future. For most of your life, happiness felt like something just out of reach. Something you'd find once you achieved more, earned more, or fixed everything that felt incomplete. But once you reach 70, you begin to see the truth. Happiness was never waiting for you somewhere down the road. It was always hidden in the present moment, quietly sitting beside you while you were too busy looking ahead. You stopped chasing the idea of someday. You no longer wait for the perfect house, the perfect family situation, or the perfect body. You start appreciating what you already have, the chair that supports you, the air that fills your lungs, the memories that still warm your heart. You understand that joy isn't a grand celebration. It's the soft laughter shared with a friend, the comfort of routine, the smell of coffee in the morning. This realization is both humbling and liberating. You see how much time was wasted worrying about what others had or what you lacked. And now you simply want peace. You stop measuring your life by what's missing and start honoring what remains. You finally learn that happiness was never about getting more. It was about noticing more. Every sunrise, every kind word, every small act of grace becomes a quiet reminder that your life as it is enough. And that's when you find a calm that younger versions of yourself could never understand. You stop striving and start being. You stop regretting and start appreciating. That, my friend, is what it truly means to live wisely. Truth 8, death stops being something to fear. At some point in your 70s or 80s, a quiet shift happens inside you. You stop being haunted by the idea of death. You stop seeing it as a cruel thief that takes life away, and instead begin to see it as a natural conclusion to a story beautifully lived. For most of your years, death was something distant, something that only happened to others. But as time passes, you begin to understand that it's not an interruption of life, it's part of it. The older you get, the more you realize that fearing death steals the joy from living. When you're young, the thought of mortality feels unbearable. But when you've seen decades come and go, when you've loved deeply, lost painfully, and lived fully, you start to see death differently. You no longer wish to live forever. You only wish to live meaningfully. This acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means making peace with reality. You begin to cherish each sunrise, each breath, each ordinary day, not because you expect many more, but because you finally understand how precious every one of them is. That awareness makes you gentler. You stop arguing, stop rushing, stop chasing. You start forgiving faster, loving deeper, and letting go easier. You find comfort in knowing that your legacy isn't in wealth or achievements, but in the warmth you've left in other people's hearts. The laughter you shared, the wisdom you passed down, the kindness you showed, these are the pieces of you that remain long after you're gone. And here's the most profound truth: once you stop fearing death, you begin to live with a freedom that younger souls can't comprehend. You no longer live in resistance, you live in grace. You savor life, not because you deny its end, but because you've accepted it. When you finally make peace with death, life stops being something to survive and becomes something to celebrate. That is the final gift of old age, not more time, but deeper appreciation of the time you still have. Final thoughts. Growing old is not a tragedy, it's a transformation. The 8 bitter truths we've explored today are not meant to sadden you, but to awaken you. They remind us that life in its later years becomes quieter, simpler, and more honest. You lose things, yes, your speed, your strength, some of your roles. But in return, you gain something far greater: perspective. You begin to understand what truly matters and what never did. You learn to let go without fear. You start living with more presence, more acceptance, and more peace. And perhaps for the first time in decades, you stop performing for the world and simply start being yourself. Old age, when embraced with wisdom, becomes the most genuine chapter of life. It's where you no longer need to prove anything to anyone. You find comfort in silence, purpose in small acts of kindness, and beauty in imperfection. The truth may be bitter, but it's what sets you free. So if you're in your 70s, 80s, or even 90s, don't see this as the end of your story. See it as your chance to live truthfully, peacefully, and fully awake. Because wisdom, not youth, is the real beginning of freedom. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.